Hey there, and welcome back to Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story. Today we're going to do a layout share. I call these process to pages. This is a share of all of the layouts I've done recently in process videos. I like to just do a quick drive-by in case you're not into the full process videos. This is still a way for me to share the work, and this is January and February. And y'all, it's a hefty little stack. I've got it sorted kind of into topics, which is a little bit different than previous months. Usually I just do these in the order that I created them in, but I thought I would arrange them topically. And you'll see at the top is month in review. Let me get these out of the way. So in 2026, I have a few storytelling initiatives, and one of them is to do 2024 month in review. Then I've got Disney layouts, British Isles vacation, and vintage childhood photos. And then I've got 2 design teams that I prepare projects for. So that's how I've got these organized. And I'm doing the month in review on a live twice a month on Mondays. And I'm loving it. It's an easy way for me to get the layout done. It's building a little bit of community. I hope that it's enjoyable for those that hop on or that catch it on replay. And this was the first one that I did, using Simple Stories Hello Noteworthy. And after the live, I don't guess I added anything after the live. Oh, I added this sticker after the live. Then the next month in review that we did was February. You can see it's the same sketch, but my photo configuration can change. The last one had 4 4x6s across the bottom, and here I brought in a bunch of 3x4s. So a lot of fun. After this live, I added this little heart rub on, and you can see I've got a consistent format going. The washi is True Colors, and then the calendar cards are Simple Stories Hello Today. We finished May the other day, and I've already got June pulled and prepped. I'm loving working through them quickly. My little corners get bent up. That's why I got to keep pushing out these videos to share. Okay, so then we're going to hop over to some Tracy Reed Designs creative team projects. And in 2026, Tracy has her own initiative, and she's rolling out a year-long collection called Story Foundations. And in the first month, she released what she calls the core. And so in January, we did 2 collections. We did the core collection, and I decided to document my word for the year. And then the second collection we did in January was called Routines. She called it something like Routines and Rhythms. And I decided to document what the season of life looks like right now. I love the little stitching on the letters. I also love this wood grain. Then in February, Tracy rolled out the chapter 2, which was called Faves. And so this is a Valentine's recap from 2024. So see, this falls into my 2024 initiative story. Just a strong vertical band. I did a double scallop, 3 little photos. I think it's really sweet. Then looking at love in a different angle, I decided to document my favorite all-time show. I love this show. Love it. And I did this little notebook die up here on one of her journal cards. Such a fun collection. And I'd never, in all my years of scrapbooking, I'd never done a layout about Law and Order. I was so excited when they brought it back a couple of years ago, the original. I know SVU's been on for forever. Okay, and then here's my third Tracy Reed Faves project for February, and it was a different kind of love. And this is me caring for my mom. Steve and I do it together. I don't do it by myself, but I'm the one that's here with her every day. This is like a happy horizontal, but I rotated it. Here's another Tracy Reed project. This is for Bookish, and this was a Mix It Up Monday. So this paper and this paper and this paper were from Story Foundations, and then the plaid and the book paper and the flowers were from Bookish. So if you've got Bookish and you like the Story Foundations, all those little flowers work. I loved the challenge of taking 2 collections and blending them together. I love the little subtle die cut on that title. So Pear Tree Cut Files is the other design team that I'm on, and this was my first project for them this year, and it was Hello 2026, and it's just a real simple layout about welcoming in the new year quietly at home. Very standard photo grid for me. Again, it's a happy horizontal, and I love, basic design and highlighting pretty paper. I'm that pretty paper loving girl. Here we have another Pear Tree Cut File project, and this is letting really the title take center stage. And I decided that this could be my title page for my 2025 month in review, which will use simple stories for the record. And I haven't, obviously started this yet because I'm working in 2024, but I thought this cut file was a great way to get a head start on that project. And I picked 7 photos from the year as little highlights, and a little secret fact is that 7 is my favorite number. So I just slid these over, did a little bit of a grid over here, and I had never worked with triangles before. I really like how this turned out. I know that people enjoyed the look of it, and that was nice. I'll have to try triangles again. Here we go again for a Pear Tree Cut File project, and I love this one, I think, even more than the last. This is a recap of our 2025 Italy and Austria trip, and I just love this file. So this is the actual size that the file comes in, and I share in the process video that you could actually use this file on every title page you do on a vacation album. And so I highlight the 5 cities that we go to.
This one was so much fun to make, and it's nice to know that I've already got the title page ready for this project when I get to it.
So moving on to a combination, this is a Pear Tree Cut File design team project, but it's also my British Isles 2023 layout initiative. So this is the beginning of our flight. We had a terrible delay going over. We spent a ton of time in the airport that we didn't need to, but we were still so happy to go. And this is using Echo Park Go See Explore, and just using a big block and some supporting vertical bands on the design. No stitching here. Well, that's not true. I did stitch. I stitched on the little airplane paths. Very subtle. And I set the stage for the story, the big trip, and I love how this turned out. I did size this down to support the story, and I've got 9 photos on this page. Staying in the British Isles trip, I move on to London. We spent several days in London before we headed to get on our British Isles cruise. And this is Westminster Abbey. This is a digital kit from, I'm not going to remember. That's when you can go look at the process video. I pivoted away from the Echo Park collections on this layout, and I went with the digital kit because I wanted some paper that really supported the history and the majesty of this beautiful building, and I love how this ended up looking. I brought in some 49 in Market. This is off of the Cartabella London collection sticker sheet, more 49 in Market, and this absolutely stunning was the title that I elected to use for this layout, and when I saw this title, I knew that I wanted to tell this story. Again, 9 photos. I've got one more British Isles story in this stack, and it's this basic overview of London sites. These are all the little pictures you see along the way to somewhere else, and you just snap them and you take them in. And you realize that these little photos are like postcard pictures you take as you move around, going from one place to the next. Echo Park Born to Travel, and some, I think this might be Stampin' Up. It's either Stampin' Up or Close to My Heart. And the correct paper is in the process video link. And in the process video, I say it's one of the companies, and when I did the video description, I realized it was the other. I did some subtle tone-on-tone stitching on this layout. On this one, I also did tone-on-tone vertical stitching on all of the bands. And I love the different look. You know, the last layout had vertical bands. This has a big horizontal block. And it's just so much fun to play with paper and get the stories out. I did an internal offset on this cut file. I'd never done this before. So you can see the background offset in between the white and the light blue. And I love how that looks. Okay, so we talked about month in review and we talked about British Isles. And next up in the queue is vintage childhood photos. And I share in the process video that ChatGPT helped me restore 3 of these photos. On this photo, it was not any help because it kept changing my face. So I used the Mente paper as the little clusters. I mean, this is all one piece, and I just fussy cut it out of the paper, and I added some October afternoon stars. And this is October afternoon. This is, I think, an Echo Park school line. October afternoon, Echo Park, October afternoon. I die cut these out of alpha dies and use the different colors in the papers, and I think it's really cute. Journaling on vellum on this old piece of notebook ephemera, and I did a double mat on the pictures. I love how it turned out. Then we moved on in vintage childhood photos to my second birthday, and this is using October afternoon cakewalk. It's such a cute collection. I had a lot of fun with this. I emulated the stitching pattern on the paper with real stitching, 2 horizontal bands making a block with a mat behind them, 1 vertical band, 3 photos. And this is the one time that I chose not to mat the photos. I let the gingham paper be the mat. I really like how this turned out. I love the little flags. Another vintage childhood photo featuring a Pear Tree cut file, and this was my Uncle Pody, and the journaling is up here. It's on the back, and he was very dear to me. And to be honest, I think these are the only 2 pictures I have of him, and I made them work. That's what I'm learning in this vintage childhood series, is that you don't need, you know, like on my travel, I've got 9 pictures. You don't need 9 pictures to have a memory. You don't need 9 pictures to tell a story. You can conjure up a memory and a really good story with 1 or 2 photos. I know my voice is a little scratchy. I think it's allergies, so I'm sorry about that. This was my 4th birthday. I turned 4 here. I was little. But I'm even littler here. This is my 2nd birthday. I got them confused. Went back to October afternoon cakewalk. I had seen this adorable pattern paper, and I thought it would be perfect for this when I only got the 1 picture of me on my special day. Chipboard, stickers, chipboard. I love how this turned out. Okay, and then the last initiative that we have for 2026 is Disney. And I started my Disney storytelling using the Kelly Bell Designs kits, and I decided to start with my favorite attraction. This is the very first Disney layout I did this year, and I went with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and I just love how this looks. I mean, part of it is because Big Thunder Mountain is just such a pretty little attraction. And I did an insert, so it would go, you know, like this in the album. So I'll get all my story on this side, and then I've got 2 pictures over here. So this is 13 pictures on this double page spread. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and I love using the 6x12 inserts. So I get my title all layered up. I just love how this turned out. And man, it really lit a fire in me to get going on my Disney stories. So then I decided that I would just stay in Frontierland and that I would move to Tom Sawyer Island. We actually only ever went on this island 2 times, and they were years apart. Fun little story to remember and tell, and I love documenting a part of the park that is now forever gone. It lives only in our memories. I'm using the life documented Allison Davis sketches on these Disney layouts, and I talk about those in length in the video, and in every one of these in which I use these life documented sketches, I include a link to the sketches in the video description. I thought the stitching really made this come alive. And then the last layout that I have to share is my third Disney project for January and February, and it's Splash, and I love it. And this also has an insert, but it's not in the plastic sleeve yet. So this insert will be like this. So it's got 4 pictures on it, and this ends up holding 17 photos. Isn't that crazy? And I don't think, I mean, they're good size photos. I think these are 3x5s. These are 4x4s. They might be 3.5 by 3.5. 3x4s, 4x4s. So that is going to be it for our January and February Process to Pages layout share. I actually got a lot of doubles done this year. And like I said, I'm loving the focus on my storytelling. I don't have to really waffle around or guess or ponder on what I'm going to work on. I know that I'm working on either British Isles travel, 2024 stories, Disney layouts, or vintage childhood. And then every once in a while for a design team project, I might bring in a different story, of course, but like I say, when it comes to my part, if I've got total control over the content, I'm sticking with those 4 story prongs, I guess. Story arcs. I don't know how you say it. And then back where we started with month in review, and it's a big stack. Big stack with a lot of good stories. I don't know if you caught all of these process videos, but I'll try and link them all in the video description. I've got a month in review playlist, I've got a Disney Magic playlist, I've got a Pear Tree cut file playlist, I've got a travel playlist, I've got a Tracy Reed designs playlist. So you can navigate your way around based on what you want to deep dive into or check out. Let me know in the comments which one of these is your favorite. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of these. I hope that you had some fun on your desk while I was having fun sharing these layouts. I'm going to put these away, move on to the next project, and as always, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.